Kshyama in Sanskrit means forgiveness. It's a combination of tenderness, kindness, and compassion. Yoga practitioners are advised to forgive for their own benefit. The unforgiven is carried as baggage, where memories of past wrongs and unresolved emotions hinder progress on the spiritual path toward liberation. So forgiveness can be a very complicated concept. I used to think that forgiveness meant when somebody harms me or another, I have to forgive them and say what they did was okay. But it's not always okay. But forgiveness, I've learned, or at least the way I think of it now, is more about letting go of that baggage, that anger, that resentment. Learning to let go and move on. Letting go of that negative energy. So I invite you to practice from a place of forgiveness. If we make mistakes in our practice, just practice right on the yoga mat. If we make mistakes, don't hang on to that and keep repeating, oh, I didn't do that pose very well. Let go of that. Forgive yourself, and I'll forgive myself for making mistakes when our practice is not perfect. And enjoy the practice as we practice forgiving and enjoying the practice just the way it is with all its imperfections. So coming to a standing position, just bring your hands out and circle your wrists in one direction. Just let them relax and move. We're getting the synovial fluids moving. We're lubricating the joints. And then pause and go the other direction. And now make a fist, squeeze your fists tight as you can, and then stretch, open and stretch your fingers. Squeeze, make fists, and stretch. Close and open. Close tight and open wide. Couple more times. And then circle your shoulders in one direction. Just let your shoulders loosen, your upper back soften. And pause and go the other direction. Now place most of your weight into your right foot, right knee soft. And place the toes of your left foot on the mat and pivot on your toes, just circling that ankle in one direction. And then pause and go the other direction. And then place your left foot on the mat, left knee soft, come onto the toes of your right foot. Pivot on those toes to wiggle that ankle, circling it in one direction. Then pause and go the other direction. And lower both feet to the mat, coming to a standing position, feet roughly hip distance apart. Bend your knees slightly. As you inhale, lift your arms up over your head. Keep your spine straight, strong core. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold. Your hands might dangle, maybe they reach the mat. Or if you're using blocks, you can place your hands on blocks. If it's available to you, straighten one leg. And then switch sides, straightening the other leg. Maybe both, or maybe neither. Inhaling, come halfway up. Nice flat back, think shoulders back. As you exhale, fold. Place both hands on the mat and come onto your knees. Coming into all fours. Your toes can be tucked or tops of the feet on the mat. Inhaling, lower your chest and belly towards the mat. Exhaling, round your back. Be mindful of what you can or cannot do with your spine. Look after yourself. But do as much as you can. It feels right on your body today. If one of these shapes feels particularly good on your body, just hang out there. Or just move from one shape to the other. If your toes are tucked, untuck your toes so the tops of your feet are on the mat. Slowly lower your hips over your heels and stretch your arms forward for an active child's pose. And then slowly lift your hips up over your knees, walk your hands forward, and come onto your belly. Tops of feet stay on the mat. Lift your hands up off the mat just an inch or so. Now look straight ahead, pressing your belly into the mat. Lift your chest forward and up. Think shoulders and elbows back. And then let your hands just rest lightly on the mat. To protect your low back, keep your lowest rib cage on the mat. If your spine feels healthy and no issues, you can come up a touch higher. But it's more about sending your chest forward. In Bhujangasana, this is a chest opener. Slowly lower down, pressing your hands into the mat. Lift up through tabletop. As seems natural, begin to round your back, lowering your hips over your heels back into child's pose. And then hips up over your knees, walk your hands forward, come onto your belly, and then send your chest forward and up, elbows close to your rib cage, back into Cobra, Bhujangasana. And then lower down, back through tabletop to child's pose. We're just going to move through these 3 poses a few more times. If one of them feels just right for your body and your body's asking for more, stay in that pose. Or you may prefer the movement of moving from one pose into the next. Savor what feels right for you on your body today. And just keep moving for a few more breaths. And then when you next come through tabletop, pause here. Walk your knees together and straighten your right leg out behind you, right heel same height as right hip. Now lower that right hip so it's level with your left. Flex the foot of the right leg and breathe here. Strong engagement. Option to extend the left arm forward. Strong core. And lower that hand and knee to the mat. And now straighten the left leg out behind you. Left heel, same height as left hip. Lower that left hip so it's level with your right. Strong core. Option to extend the right arm forward. And lower your hand and knee to the mat. Tuck your toes. Lift your knees up off the mat and walk your feet forward to your hands. Bending your knees as much as you need to straighten your spine. Maybe your forearms rest on your thighs. Play with lifting your hips up higher And then as you exhale, allow your upper body to fold a little deeper. Inhaling, come halfway up, nice flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhaling, reach your arms out to the side, come all the way to standing, arms up over your head. Exhale, palms together. Release your hands. Come to the front of your mat, feet hip distance apart. Step your right foot back behind you, a fairly big step back. Hands on hips. Bend that left knee. Bring your right hip forward. If your left knee is passing your ankle, step that right foot back a little further. Have your left knee and foot pointed in the same direction. Right heel can stay down with the toes out, or right heel lifted. Inhaling, reach your arms up. Soft shoulders, reach your fingertips up. Strong core. Breathe. Maybe sit more deeply. Exhaling, bring your palms together at your heart center. Looking straight ahead, focus your gaze. Put most of your weight into your left foot, just resting those right toes gently behind you. Left knee is soft. Focus your gaze. Play with lifting the right foot up, flexing that foot. Engage the muscles in the lifted leg. Option to stay here, maybe tapping the toes as need be. Practice without judgment of where we are in the practice today. Just trying our best, maybe doing a little bit more with each practice. If it's available to you, begin to fold forward at the left hip, keeping your spine straight as the right leg comes up behind you. Option to reach your right arms forward. In Virabhadrasana 3. If you come out of the pose, just practice without judgment. Trying again. Come on back up, lower that foot, and lower the arms. Feet hip distance apart. Now step your left foot back behind you, fairly big step back. Hands on hips, bend that right knee. Bring the left hip forward so you're facing the front of the mat. Left heel can stay down with the toes out or lifted. Can you deepen the lunge? Be mindful your right knee and foot are pointed in the same direction, and right knee is not passing the ankle. Inhaling, arms up over your head. Maybe sit more deeply. Exhale, palms together at your heart center. Focus your gaze in front. Begin to put all the weight into the right foot, just letting the left toes rest gently behind you. Right knee is soft. Lift the left foot up off the mat, flexing that foot. Strong, lifted leg. Maybe today you stay here on this side, tapping the toes as need be. Or bend at the right hip, spine straight, fold forward, letting the left leg come up behind you. Option to straighten the arms. Quiet focus. Soft, standing knee but strong leg. Breathe. One more breath. Slowly come on up. Lower that foot and lower your arms. Soft knees. Take a nice long deep inhale, reaching your arms up over your head. Long slow exhale to fold. As you inhale, come halfway up. Pause here. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, rise to standing, arms up over your head. Exhale, palms together. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.